guys, King Chad here, and welcome to my thoughts on the FIFA 14 vs Pro Evolution Soccer 14 demos. It's that time of year again when the two major football and gaming titles go head to head, and while the majority of the football and gaming community has their eyes fixed on what FIFA has to offer, I decided to approach both FIFA 14 and PES 14 with an open mind to see which one gives off a better first impression. Can PES bring a surprise, or will FIFA continue to dominate? When FIFA 14 were first greeted with the familiar sight of Messi before we transitioned towards a very Scottish looking skyline. Look at them clouds. We go through the usual startup process associated with the last several FIFAs, picking a club. Myself are Dortmund because they've got Aubameyang, and then we see this revamped screen with some ear-friendly music playing in the background. Players are given the choice to check out Ultimate Team Basics as well as a head-to-head game. This involves a lot of tutorial-based guidance to help initiate newer players to the game what is going on. With PES 14 it doesn't take long until we're thrown into the start screen with some very arcadey music going on. While the FIFA main screens look organised and yet appeal to the eye, PES goes for something very simplistic to the point that I feel it lacks effort. PES one-ups FIFA though of having the opportunity to learn the basics of the training drills, and if it changes to FIFA this year I feel like even having one or two basic training drills in that game would have been of great benefit to players. There's a lot to learn in both gaming titles, but I feel FIFA has the early lead in presentation as it looks a lot more visually appealing, especially if PES offers a mammoth 150 pages mainly filled with game tips to improve your ability in-game. Both games will take some effort to get a grasp of the control scheme, which is what we're going to look at next. While a lot of FIFA gamers are aware of the changes to how skilling operates, what grabbed my attention was the many other little changes that have been made which will force experienced FIFA gamers to study up if they want to master the game for another year at least. The game feels a bit slower, and this helps make it an interesting footballing experience. There's a lot of emphasis on the first touch, and when you're trying to keep control of the ball while surrounded by players, it can be a struggle. As mentioned earlier, the lack of basic training mode means players will need to look up in the demo the controls to improve themselves, especially on the higher difficulty settings. I personally put the demo on to the highest difficulty in both games to push my own limits to try and improve myself, and it was a challenging but rewarding experience. My one and only Ultimate Team game had the predictable FIFA edge, as you can see here, a match which I dominated hands down, yet I still lost 1-0. The highlights package at half time and full time has been improved, and it's a nice touch. Players can use the arena to work on what they've learned, but it's a specific lack of guidance, so you need to already know how to do things before trying them out, rather than be told how to do them and seeing if you can make it work for yourself. I was a fair bit into the demo before I realised there was a lot of new things to learn about the gameplay side, such as hard stop protect using left trigger by default, and then bounce and lob pass using right bumper and the X, but even simple things like movement have been worked on. For an effective first touch, holding right trigger and then moving the right analog stick in a direction will make you take that first touch in that specific direction, which to me seems a new feature of the game. This FIFA looks set to force players to slow things down in game as they try to outplay opponents, and anything that encourages football is a good thing at the end of the day. This updated skill moves are interesting, especially as this random leg twitching thing shows, but it's not only the skill moves that players need to get used to, there is a lot more to this game than in FIFA 13. Going over to the PES demo, I'd set the controls to be as similar as possible to that of the FIFA default as what I'm used to, so I made it similar. So with that done, I then tried to understand all the control schemes. Like in FIFA, there's a lot of things in PES to get your head around to make things work effectively. It's about having the patience to understand and learn it all. Moving the ball about in PES is simple enough. You hold the pass button down for a stronger pass, and the power indicator is on the player itself compared to the bottom of the screen like in FIFA. But dribbling with the ball in PES is an experience which left me quite unimpressed. In FIFA there seems to be a lot more options on how you maintain control of the ball and how you move with the ball as well, but in PES you either move sluggishly or you move too fast. Perhaps it's something we need to get used to, but I wasn't too impressed with it when I played. The tackling is also something that I feel needs a lot of practice at least to make it work. There's a normal slide tackle button which is easy enough, but instead of having a stand tackle like in FIFA, you've got one button to do multiple things defensively. Holding the button will apply pressure, and then you use the same button and you got to press it twice to make a standing tackle. An exclamation mark appears over your player's head, telling you when to make his tackle work in the training mode at least. And while I felt I slowly got the feel of this mechanic with several attempts, it still felt very awkward to utilise. The defensive side of FIFA is also a headache at times, as people are often rewarded for holding the contain button, so it's hard to tell which is worse or which is better, but I will say that defending in PES looks like it requires a bit more intelligence. In game there's a lot more to learn, and it's up to the player how to best utilise the many different features to get the better of their opponents, be they human or AI. In FIFA things look pretty much the same as I did last year in terms of the general style and cutscenes. The new camp looks great, but the crowd look as poor as they've always done and seem to be animated at 15 frames a second, which is also an issue on the PES demo too. But just because not a lot's been changed doesn't mean it isn't good. The players look like they're meant to look that way, they look like themselves, and the reintroduction of zooming in and players celebrating is welcomed, as you can see me enjoying a moonwalk surrounded by appreciative teammates. If I had to describe it, I'd say the graphics of FIFA have been polished quite nicely. It's quite a different story in PES though. As well as feeling like it's an arcade game, it also at times has the look of one in my opinion, especially as you select your team and you have a screen before kicking off. It looks so weird. This completely changes when you're in-game though, as the players look very lifelike indeed, but the performance of my game dropped and there was a noticeable slowdown. When you score a goal, it turns into a cinematic cutscene of sorts, and while it looks insane, it also comes at a price. For me at least, it didn't run that smoothly. Plus, why the hell has Schweinsteiger got his arm there? They look amazing, but at the same time the performance drop was a letdown. With all that said though, I think PES at times looks breathtaking. This goal cutscene still impressed the hell out of me, and I feel PES wins out graphically simply because of things like this. In FIFA, a goal is usually just a goal. In PES, it feels like it's more than that. The players look fantastic too compared to FIFA, which is also impressive but still a bit lacking. Having played both demos for an hour to get to grips with things, the first impressions are that while FIFA looks fresher and is far more presentable, PES wins out graphically in-game for the players and stadium. What it all boils down to, as it always should, is the gameplay, and for this I still think FIFA is just ahead. It feels more enjoyable to play FIFA compared to PES, but the gap isn't as big as many would believe. What truly separates the two games isn't the graphics, nor is it the gameplay or the presentation. As we've known for the last few years, FIFA's Ultimate Team is what's kept them top, and PES has failed to offer anything to rival this. If you remove Ultimate Team from the equation, then FIFA still wins out, but I was still impressed with certain aspects of the PES demo. Share your own thoughts below in the comments. This has been King Jan, hope you enjoyed the video. Peace out!